Director McCabe, did Director Comey ever share details of his conversations with the President with you? In particular, did Director Comey say that the President had asked for his loyalty?
Sir, I'm not going to comment on conversations the Director may have had with the President. I know he's here to testify in front of you tomorrow. You'll have an opportunity to ask him those things then. I'm
asking you, did you have that conversation with Director Comey?
And I've responded that I'm not going to comment on those conversations.
Why not?
Because for two reasons. First, as I mentioned, I'm not in a position to talk about conversations that Director Comey may or may not have had with the President.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking about conversations that you had with Director Comey.
And I think that those matters also begin to fall within the scope of issues being investigated by the special counsel, and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment on those today.
So you're not invoking executive privilege, and obviously it's not classified. This is the Oversight Committee. Why would it not be appropriate for you to share that conversation with us?
I think I'll let Director Comey speak for himself tomorrow in front of this committee.
We certainly look forward to that, but I think your unwillingness to share that conversation is an issue. Director Coates, you've said as well that it would be inappropriate to answer a simple question about whether the President asked for your assistance in blunting the Russia investigation. I don't care how you felt. I'm not asking whether you felt pressured. I'm simply asking, did that conversation occur?
And once again, Senator, I will say that I do believe it's inappropriate for me to discuss that in an open session.
You realize, and obviously this is not releasing any classified information, but you realize how simple it would simply be to say, no, that never happened. Why is it inappropriate, Director Coates?
I think conversations between the President and myself, for the most part...
you seem to apply that standard selectively.
No, I'm not applying it selectively. I'm just saying I don't think it's appropriate.
You can clear an awful lot up by simply saying that never happened.
I do not share with the general public conversations that I have with the President or many of my colleagues within the administration that I believe should not be shared.
Well, I think your unwillingness to answer a very basic question speaks volumes.
It's not a matter of unwillingness,
Mr. Rosenstein. It is a matter of unwillingness.
It's a matter of how I share it and whom I share it to. And when there are ongoing investigations, I think it's inappropriate to.
So you don't think the American people deserve to know the answer to that question?
I think the investigations will determine that. And you're part of the investigation.
Mr. Rosenstein, did you know when you wrote the memo that was used as the primary justification for firing Director Comey that the administration would be using it as the primary justification?
Senator, as I know you're aware, I have there are a number of documents associated with me that are in the public record. The memorandum I wrote concerning Director Comey is in the public record. The order appointing the special counsel is in the public record. The press release I issued accompanying that order is in the public record, and a written version of the statement that I delivered to.
Were you aware that it would be the primary justification for his firing?
Pardon me, Senator, 100 United States senators and 435 congressmen is in the public record. I answered many questions in the closed briefings of the 100 senators.
But you're not answering this question.
And as I explained in those briefings, Senator, I support Mr. McCabe on this. We have a special counsel who is investigating, now responsible for the Russian
investigation. At this point, you filibuster better than most of my colleagues, so I'm going to move on to another question and say that given that the President stated that the FBI director, that his firing was in response to investigations into Russia, which he made very clear in Lester Holt's interviews, you've talked with both the President and the Attorney General about this firing. In light of Mr. Sessions' recusal, what role did the Attorney General play in that firing, and was it appropriate for him to write the letter that he wrote in this case?
I'm not trying to filibuster, Senator. I think I only took about 30 seconds, but I am not going to comment on that matter. I'm going to leave it to Special Counsel Mueller to determine whether that is within the scope of his investigation, and I believe that's appropriate for Mr. McCabe and me to do that.
Okay, so you can't comment on recusal and what's in and inside and outside the scope of that recusal.
Mr. Chairman, we ought to let the witness answer the question.
Second the motion. So, I'm sorry, your specific question is what's in the recusal. And my understanding is the recusal you're referring to is also in the public record, and I believe it speaks for itself.